So, let's dive into the story of a man who has hit absolute rock bottom. His name is Jacob. He's a fugitive, running from his brother who, by the way, wants him dead. He's sleeping out in the middle of nowhere with nothing but a rock for a pillow. And it's right here, in this moment of just total desperation, that he has an encounter that won't just change his life, it's going to change the entire course of history.
And that's really the big question here, isn't it? It's a huge paradox. I mean, Jacob is not some hero on a noble quest. He's a deeply flawed guy, literally fleeing the mess he made himself. So how on earth does this person, at his absolute lowest, become the one to receive a direct, world-altering promise from God? Well, to get that, we've got to rewind a little bit, back to the moment he actually left home.
You see, Jacob's journey doesn't just start with him panicking and running away. It actually begins with a formal, very serious command from his father Isaac. He's being officially sent away, not just kicked out. There's a mission involved.
And the command is incredibly specific. Isaac tells him, "Go back to our ancestral homeland, Padan Aram, back to your mother's family." And look, this isn't just about, finding a suitable wife. This is a huge strategic move to preserve their family line, to keep their identity completely separate from the Canaanite cultures all around them.
But here's the thing. Along with the command, he gets this unbelievable blessing. Isaac doesn't just send him packing. He formally passes down the great covenant that God made with his grandfather, Abraham. He blesses Jacob with the promise of countless descendants, the inheritance of the very land he's now fleeing, and the continuation of that sacred lineage. So think about it. Jacob leaves not just as a fugitive, but as the chosen heir, carrying both the weight and the promise of a divine destiny. Now, this whole situation forces a reaction from both brothers, Jacob and his twin Esau. And their responses, well, they couldn't be more different, and they tell you everything you need to know about these two men.
On one side, you've got Jacob. His response is simple. He hears the command and he goes. Done. Direct obedience. Esau, on the other hand, sees this as an opportunity for some damage control. He realizes, oh, my Canaanite wives are really ticking off my parents. So he tries to fix it by marrying another woman. But see, that's not real obedience. It's a calculated political move to get back in their good graces. The contrast is just stark. One acts out of duty, the other is just maneuvering.
So Jacob leaves Beersheba, which is basically the last little piece of his familiar world, and he heads out into this vast, empty wilderness. He is now completely, utterly alone.
And the story really wants you to feel this solitude. It says he came to a certain place. It's not a town, not a camp. It's just an anonymous spot on the map. As the sun sets and darkness falls, his vulnerability is just off the charts. Here's a man carrying this huge promise, but right now, he has absolutely no protection. And this detail, wow, this isn't just some rustic camping trip. Using a stone for a pillow, I mean, can you imagine? That just screams absolute destitution. It's a real physical symbol of how hard things are, how desperate he is. He has literally nothing left. And it's right there, in that state of total vulnerability, that the divine breaks through. In a dream, Jacob sees something just extraordinary, a structure, maybe a stairway or a ladder, that connects the very ground he's lying on all the way up to the highest heavens.
And this is not a static picture. There's movement, a constant flow, with angels going up and down this ladder. It's like a bustling, active connection, a two-way street between heaven and earth. And standing right there at the top, overseeing the whole thing, is the Lord himself.
But Jacob isn't just watching a movie here. No, God speaks directly to him from the top of that ladder. And when he does, he basically takes the blessing Isaac gave Jacob and he puts his own divine stamp of approval on it. God starts by introducing himself. This isn't just some random spirit. This is the specific God of his family, the one who made promises to his father and his grandfather. It's this powerful statement that says, "I've been here all along, through the generations." The first promise is so tangible. The very ground Jacob is sleeping on, this hard, uncomfortable piece of dirt, God says one day it's going to belong to him and his kids. For a guy who's homeless, that is an absolutely incredible assurance. Next up, the promise of family. Remember, he is completely alone, but God promises him descendants, so numerous they'll be like the dust of the earth. He's not just going to have a family, he's going to be the father of a massive nation that will spread out in every direction.
And then the promise zooms out. It gets even bigger. It's not just about Jacob or his future nation anymore. This blessing is going to have global implications. Through his family line, a blessing is eventually going to flow out to all the families of the earth.
And finally, God brings it right back down to Jacob, right here, right now. This is the most personal and immediate promise of all. For the fugitive on the run, God says, I am with you, I will protect you, I will bring you back. For Jacob, in this moment, this is the promise that matters most. So when Jacob wakes up, you can bet the world does not look the same. That dream wasn't just some comforting fantasy, it was a reality-changing encounter with the divine. In an encounter like that, it demands a response.
His first words are just this mixture of total awe and, frankly, a little bit of fear. He realizes he just stumbled onto sacred ground without even knowing it. This anonymous, random spot in the middle of nowhere is actually an intersection point, a gate of heaven.
And so he has to rename the place. It's not just a certain place anymore. He calls it Bethel, or Bethel, which literally means house of God. Then he takes the very stone he used as a pillow, that symbol of his hardship, and he anoints it, turning it into a memorial, an altar.
Now, after this incredible, unconditional promise from God, Jacob's response is, well, it's fascinating. It is not this immediate, pure leap of faith. Instead, he makes a vow, but it's a conditional one. It's a whole series of ifs. He's essentially laying out a contract. Okay, God, if you do all these things you just promised me,
Then I will fully commit. If God provides protection, food, clothing, and gets him home safely, then Jacob will serve him. Then he'll honor this place, and then he'll give back 1/10 of everything he gets. It's a very human, almost transactional approach to the divine. And this really captures the tension at the heart of the story. Jacob gets this promise of unconditional grace, but he responds with a conditional vow. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Is this how faith often begins? Not as some pure, selfless leap into the dark, but maybe as a negotiation, a cautious bargain we make as we take our first shaky steps out of fear and toward a future of trust?